And welcome back to episode 38 of The Hunt. Today's a very exciting episode because not only do you have Mr. Benny Roberts on the podcast, but you also have Mr. Jarrod _HPC. Welcome, mate.
Thanks for having me, mate.
No, you're welcome.
Excited to be here.
Excited, yeah. So this episode, we're pretty much just going to introduce Jarrod. What we're going to talk about. But we're just going to basically keep it really authentic. We're just going to learn more about Jarrod, why he is working at HPC, what motivated him to become a coach, where he's come from, so our listeners can learn more about him. Because you're quite quiet on social media, mate. You don't post very often, other than the odd story here and there. But it's something you're keen to get into, isn't it? You're keen to start posting, keen to start sharing your knowledge.
More. Absolutely.
Perfect.
I'm keen.
No, that'll be good. All right. Well, I'll kick us off, Benny. So I think my first question is, what motivated you to become a coach? Because you're an avid casual worker at Woolworths. Like, why does this seem like such a more fulfilling career for you?
Mate, well, I've wanted to get into coaching for quite a while now.
Yep.
Originally, I started an online PT course, like Cert 3 and 4, with the obvious goal of getting into powerlifting coaching.
Learned heaps, by the way. Yeah, you learned heaps.
I learned bugger all, mate. You don't learn anything in these courses. But anyway, initially, I just wanted to start off with PT and then sort of like branch my way into powerlifting coaching. And then a few months ago, three and a half months ago, I moved to Newcastle from Sydney. I was living in Sydney all my life, Western Sydney. Came here and pretty much like you and I were we were all already mates before I moved here. But I moved here and told you what I wanted to do basically. And we obviously like had a look into like PT commercial gym roles.
Yeah, because you originally applied for the new World Gym at Beresfield.
That's right. And I got ghosted.
Yeah, right. Nice.
Yeah.
Did they ever follow up or nothing?
Nothing.
Right.
Anywho, then after that, kind of just fizzled out. You essentially brought the idea of working here, and I was like, mate, like I can't remember if I told you this or not, but when I actually moved here, or even before I moved here, I was like, oh, it'd be so sick to work at HPC. But I was never going to like ask you because I was like, oh, it's a bit rude. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like, in a sense, like offered it. And I was like, this is sick. It felt like my quote unquote like dream job just fell into my lap.
That's fucking, that's cute as fuck.
That's cool. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so sick.
The funny thing is like, it kind of just all lined up. Like, Benny's at a point now where like he's getting pretty full on the floor, and like he's going back to study next year. So I kind of needed another man next to me, or woman, whoever it may be.
Another foot soldier
on the floor.
Another trooper.
Yeah, and it just so happened that it was a time for me to look for someone else, and it just lined up. Like I heard the frustrations of not hearing back from commercial gyms and stuff. You were trying to apply for PT roles, nothing was coming back.
Yeah,
and I thought, you know what? Let's just run the internship for 12 weeks, which is the same internship that I ran Young through, and she's been successful from that. Young PR. And yeah, it's just been good to, I guess, teach you how to be a coach essentially, because it's quite daunting. So
it's been great. Like, it's been a pretty good 12 weeks. I've learned a lot, still learning a lot.
Yeah.
Still going to be learning a lot always, which is great and exciting.
Yeah, and to plug the internship, I do plan to create like a program so people can actually do it. It's not necessarily going to hold an employment, contract at the end of it, but learning how to, learning our system, learning the way that we coach here at Hunt Performance Center is like quite valuable, because you probably learnt more through the internship than what you did for your Cert 3 and 4.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You learn. Well, I personally learn more by doing the thing rather than sitting down reading slides.
Yeah. And I think if I ran like an online model for the internship, there's ways around that, like you can kind of like interact with the lecturer, you could call me, you know what I mean? And I think that would be really valuable. But the first hands-on experience, like actually like physically working
so
with clients
valuable.
You just getting your hands dirty essentially.
Yeah. Been chucked in the deep end basically.
It's good. It's how it should be done.
Yeah.
for sure. No, that's good. And I guess to follow on from what Aiden said, he spoke about how you wanted to get into coaching and things like that. So I know that you also study at university.
Yes.
So you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I study a Bachelor of Sport and Exercise Science. Next year will be my last year. And where I essentially want to go with that is I want to go straight into a Masters of Exercise Physiology.
Yep.
I want to branch into doing EP and do coaching alongside it, essentially.
Yeah, perfect.
So I'm at Western Sydney University at the moment for that. I'll be able to get a transfer to University of Newcastle in February.
Yep.
So at the moment, just doing as much of it online as I can and going on campus when I need to, because it's a bit far.
Yeah. Have you found the transition from doing more face to face to more online work?
With uni?
Uni, yeah.
It's a bit challenging because I definitely learn the most like hands-on, like being face to face.
Yeah.
Like I mean, lucky online's still an option.
Yeah.
But
that's fair enough.
I'm keen to be on campus.
Have you found much like that you've actually got out of that course that you've been able to apply so far?
Yeah, a bit.
For sure.
Definitely way more than I did in Cert 3 and 4.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. No, that's good.
But yeah, it's been really good, very valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Did you start powerlifting before you got into that, or after you started your studies?
No, I actually started powerlifting after I got into it.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
It's funny story actually. So as soon as I got out of high school, I went straight into uni, right? But I was in a different degree.
Yeah. Okay.
I went into a bachelor.
Yeah.
I went into a Bachelor of Creative Industries.
Yep.
With the goal to do like sports journalism.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Like sports journalism kind of media type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got into my second year and realized I enjoyed it, but I only enjoyed it, if that makes sense. It was kind of like a hobby.
Yeah.
In a sense, I didn't see myself making a career out of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, not sure about this. And then I was like, I really love the gym. At the time, lucky I wasn't into powerlifting, didn't even know what powerlifting was, but I just loved training.
Yep.
So I was like, I'm going to get into my Cert 3 and 4 and apply for a transfer into sport and exercise science.
Yeah.
So I did that and then got into powerlifting about, I think it was within 6 months. Within 6 months of that transition, got into powerlifting.
Yeah, cool.
Maybe just touch on your powerlifting journey so far, because I know you're a national level referee, so you know the rules.
Yeah.
But you also have competed at a high level as well, so maybe just touch on that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did my first ever comp in March 2022. I was actually at Hunter Performance Center at the original.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
The anniversary cup.
Yeah.
That was my first ever comp. Then in the same year, went to my first ever nationals. That was probably, it wasn't my best comp, just because at the time I had a really, really bad grip issue with my deadlifts. I could not hold on to anything. So I think I went like minus 50 something on my total. Damn. Just because I couldn't hold on to much. But anywho, kept chipping away as you do. Went to junior nationals this year in APA. That was definitely my favourite competition experience so far.
Yep.
And now I'm 6-7 weeks out from Perth Cup in November. And
Gonna put up a whopping total, aren't you, mate?
Hopefully. Well, not hopefully, I will. I will. Absolutely.
Speak it into existence, mate.
Yeah, that's it.
That's good.
That's it.
So my next question is going to be, obviously HPC, we are really big on collaboration and working together to build each other up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to be like a 1 foot soldier. We're an army together to obviously make sure we're achieving the best possible results for each other and our clients. I think what's the number one thing that you believe you can contribute to Benny and I when it comes to making sure that, or Jung and Jay and Ainsley, at least everybody, what are the things that you're going to contribute to the party in regards to making us better coaches?
Mate, I really just, I'm really passionate about showing each other and our clients that we just care. I think it's the most valuable thing to have as a coach. As long as you care, care enough to be able to make your lifters fall in love with the sport the same way that you have.
Yep.
That's my main goal, and I obviously want people to get the most out of the services they can, get as much success as we can.
Yep.
And I want to help you guys get the same too, obviously,
for sure.
I've been here for 12 weeks and the way we all work as a team is great.
Yeah. So
really
for context, right, there might be a programming decision, or there might be a behavioral decision that, all us coaches have to deal with each other's clients or our own clients. And the best thing we have is that coaches group chat where we can just bounce off ideas. And over the 12 weeks, you've experienced problems that I've had, problems that Benny's had, problems that other coaches have had within the team. And you've just witnessed like how we handle those situations, but you've also had some really good like subjective inputs around like your experience on how you would like to provide the amount of care for, you know, our own athletes, people you don't even coach, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's going to be really valuable for the team. And I think that's a massive attribute that you're really passionate about.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like I just want to see like the most success for not just myself, but the whole team and the whole business, right? Like, you know, we got to all work together for that.
100%.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like we have those weekly Monday team meetings as well, which like I actually look forward to them so much. Eh? They're so valuable. Like it's really good.
They are.
Really, really good.
100%.
Yeah.
You another question, Benny?
Yeah, no. So like, I guess this is kind of going back a couple of steps, but obviously you were talking about like how initially with uni you wanted to get into like sports journalism and things like that. And I suppose this kind of ties into like the whole powerlifting journey. But I was just thinking like, you know, have you had a background like as a younger kid or like an adolescent in like other competitive sport realms? And like, have you always been like, you know, like a competitor? Or like someone who's competitive or like highly driven to succeed, because I feel like everyone in powerlifting needs to have that as some sort of asset, you know. They need to want to get after something because, you know, it's quite monotonous and hard work. So if you can just like kind of elaborate on like, you know, how you were like as like, you know, a younger kid, adolescent, and then moving into the person you are today, and how that's reflecting now.
Yeah, so I'd say I've definitely always been like pretty highly driven and self-motivated. Growing up, I was always into sports and like being active. Spent most of my life playing soccer.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Football.
FIFA.
FIFA.
yeah.
Ask Aiden how the FIFA game. Anyway, so I spent most of my life in soccer. Had a brief stint of basketball, but wasn't very good at it. So I just kind of kept that as
Like
a
short
hobby.
man sport, eh?
No. And then when I was in year 12, so I was 17 at the time, I decided to give up soccer just to focus on my studies.
Yep.
And that was when I first joined the gym.
Yep.
And initially, when I first joined the gym, I had no clue what I was doing. Like, you know,
Were you just doing like bodybuilding, like just trying to get massive, like
just trying to get jacked. But even then, like I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I do actually remember like my first like probably like 6 weeks of joining the gym. I'd go in and I'd just do like bicep curls and like the chest press machine. Like at the time I wasn't even doing any barbell stuff.
Yeah.
And then just like I'd end the session with like 45 to 60 minutes on the treadmill.
Bro, that's fucked, eh? Bro, the old classic, eh? Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, man, I just used to spam YouTube for like fitness content and just fucking fun, bro. Like, how funny is this? Me and like my best mate Riley, right? We used to literally like watch fucking, you know who Joel Corey is?
No.
Bro, but he's off fucking like Geordie Shore, bro. And he like started doing bodybuilding and shit.
What the hell?
And he put out like this series of like a bro split on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was just like, fucking like, you know, chest day. And then the next one's like back day. And
I used to do the same thing. There was this forum on massivejoes.com.au. They used to be like the Muscle Nation when I was like 14, 15.
Yeah.
And they used to upload like these fucked workouts, like quad isolation workouts, chest isolation workouts, arm isolation workouts, and I used to fucking kill myself just simply through watching those blogs and videos. Similar sort of mindset, but YouTube wasn't that big when I was younger.
That's fair. A few years ahead, but yeah, it's so funny. Then like, you know, you kind of like I don't know what you guys were like then, but I'd like just curate this like whole like, you know, kind of network of like online people who actually had like some decent stuff going on. And then from there, you're just with the boys in like, I don't know, you're just with the boys after school, like, you know, down the road.
Yeah.
Like
Some of the best memories ever.
Yeah. The one just down the road from the school. And then you're just like, oh man, like this one's hectic for getting a bicep pump, bro. And you're all just like getting pumped. Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Where 10 by 10 started.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, and it got to a point where like I was doing that for like, not knowing what I was doing for so long. I think up until like, so just for context, I joined the gym like 2018, right? I think it wasn't until like COVID, like 2020, when I started like, I'd say having a decent idea of like what I was doing.
Yep.
And by that I mean just like watching people on YouTube.
Yeah, true.
And I sort of like curated my own push pull legs
Classic.
split, and that was like when I started doing that for like a handful of like weeks, months. That's when I started getting ideas of like, oh, this is pretty fun, like making like training programs essentially.
100%.
By programs I mean just in my notes, push pull legs, do this, do that.
Yeah, and then you're like talking to all your mates in the gym, like, bro, the frequency has to come up, man. Like two times a week minimum each muscle group, bro.
I was flogging myself like 6 days a week.
Yeah, bro.
Because I just loved being in the gym. Like I remember I'd rest every Sunday and I'd be like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But yeah, it is funny, hey, like, you kind of get into that rhythm then where you like maybe buy like your first like template program or something, or like
I actually never
bought one.
No.
True, bro. I was a slut for a Jeff Nippard template. I'll tell you that much. But I was like the Jeff Nippard push pull legs, Jeff Nippard upper lower, like all this shit back in the day, man. And like they were good, like, but then you'd make your own variations of them, like you said in your notes. And I'm pretty sure if I scrolled back through the archives, I'd still have like my old like splits that I would make and stuff. And then I'd tell the boys about it. I'd be like, bro, airdropping the boys like template programs. Like,
you buy this one, I buy that one.
Oh, bro. So
mesh them all together.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then I still at the time, I still wasn't even into the barbell stuff yet. Like literally just machines and dumbbells. And it wasn't until like, it was right before the 2021 COVID lockdowns, like the start of that year, I started doing the barbell stuff because I'd like I remember having this thought to myself. I was like, oh, I need to get more jacked, obviously, and all the jacked people, they use the barbell, so I got to do that too.
Yeah.
And then I was doing that for like probably like only a couple of months, and then the COVID lockdowns hit, and I had this like dumbbell kit at home, and I just flogged myself on that.
Yep.
And then the gyms reopened, and that was when I basically had all my newbie gains. I was like PRing every single session basically. I was like, oh, this is so sick. And then someone at the gym was like, oh, do you know who Australian strength coach is?
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, he's a powerlifter. I'm like, what's powerlifting? And then told me to look him up on Instagram, looked it up. And then from there, that's how I basically found out what powerlifting was.
Yep.
And then, I just wanted to PR all the time.
Yep.
Basically, like keep flogging the newbie gains as long as I could. And then I got my first coach at a local commercial gym.
Yep.
And the rest is... here we are.
That's it, eh? That was such a funny time in the fitness like online community, like when powerlifting became like more mainstream. Like and I wouldn't even say mainstream, like not as big as it is right now. Yeah. But like back when you would see like these like big time like people who were making putting out template programs, like these influencers and stuff, starting to dabble or like express their interest in like direct like SBD barbell training work and stuff like that, and talking about like, strength progressions and things like that. That was probably this, like, maybe similar to you, like the same pathway that I kind of went down and started like finding it. And it was heaps funny because I'd be like, oh yeah, like low bar back squat 3x8, that's powerlifting. Like man, it's, like funny times, eh? Yeah. But no, it's good.
Cool. Last question, mate, before we do some fun stuff.
Yep.
This is kind of like a 3 questions in one.
Yeah, gotcha.
But
we love that.
We love it. Yeah.
He doesn't.
Speaking into existence, like before, what do you hope to achieve personally, professionally, and how will you get there to achieve those goals as a coach?
Mate, personally, I want to build a team of driven, hardworking people, and I want to be able to take them to the highest level possible. Okay, so I want to take them to the national level and beyond. Hopefully that's my personal goal with my team. Professionally, I just want to like establish myself as a coach. Like, I want to just do the best I can to be recognized and respected as a coach, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you like on the topic of being respected, I think it's very hard to like not be respected in this industry because it is so tightly driven. It's so niche. Like everyone already knows who you are. Yeah. So I think it's more so just building the respect off the results that you have. And I think that's just going to come with time because
Yeah, absolutely.
you're in a good system. You know how to coach. You've already got like nearly 10 clients
Yeah.
and they've all progressed over the last
Yeah.
12 weeks. So I think it's only a matter of time before you achieve or reach those personal goals that you mentioned. But how do you think that you will get there? Like, what are some things that you're going to do with your coaching philosophy? Like, what do you believe in that gets those clients to those personal goals of yours?
Honestly, just like keeping doing the thing that I've been doing.
Yep.
You know, like working alongside the team we've got here. Any troubleshooting that comes up, that's obviously what team's here for, to collaborate.
Yep.
It's communicating on a regular basis for all my clients, wants, needs, goals, things like that.
Yep.
You know,
For sure.
yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is like when you're looking at trying to achieve these personal goals for your clients because they've got their own goals personally that they want to achieve.
Yep.
I think knowing that like when the roster gets bigger, you don't have just your toolbox. You've got Benny's toolbox, you've got my toolbox, and we've got similarities in not only clients but also strategies that have worked for things that you may come across in your journey. So I think from a trajectory standpoint, like the path is very clear, and that's the best thing about being on a team.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to obviously helping you, and I'm sure Benny is as well.
Yeah.
And everybody else.
Yeah.
Just to watch you like succeed. So very excited.
Yeah.
All right, time for some fun stuff. So you don't know this, mate. Okay, we're
no.
gonna fucking stitch you up here. We're gonna do 2 segments. We're gonna do first one is what's in Jarrod's gym bag. Okay, edition. We're gonna get your gym bag out and we're gonna go through it and we're just gonna see exactly what's in it. And then the second one is underrated, properly rated, overrated, which is something we finish on at the end of every single podcast episode. Yep. So did you want to hop up, mate, and walk on over?
All right.
But yeah, Benny, whilst he's walking to get his bag, do you have any like dollar odds on like what could potentially be inside it?
Dollar odds?
Yep. I'm going $1.01 on knee sleeves.
$1.01.
Yep.
All right.
There's got to be knee sleeves in there.
$1.00 is the fucking Alico clips.
Alico clips? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Fuck, you got 2 bags. Have a go with this.
That's crazy.
Mate, that's huge.
That's right. We got 2 bags.
You need a bag
That's
like Benny's, like the backpack.
I actually do.
Inside a
'Cause
backpack, inside a backpack.
I'm not going to be able to take
So
all
good.
this to Perth Cup.
Oh, yeah. 100%. That's it.
You need to consolidate. All right,
Yeah.
so let's start with the one that's got the zipper on it.
Cool.
All right. So that's, the main gym bag.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Put it up on your lap, mate, and you can just kind of like sit back and hop inside it.
Yep.
Alrighty, so here we go. What's
go.
inside Jarrod's gym bag?
All right. So let's start with the small zipper first. In this zipper, we have got not 1, not 2, but 3 pairs of wrist wraps.
Oh,
Fucking hell.
3 pairs. What brands have we got?
Oh, just SVDs.
Different variants, but
Yeah.
All different versions.
He's an SPD slut.
he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So I just got these. We got like the newer model, like flexi ones.
Yep.
I like blue, so I use these for bench at the moment, and they're going really good. And then we've got like the same newer model Momentum stiff SBD
The stiff.
wrist
What's
wraps.
Eclipse? Is Eclipse?
Nah, Eclipse is
That's
just like
that's
black
the
and
OG
white.
black and white, I think.
These were the Momentum.
That's showing my age, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I use these stiff ones for squat. All right.
Yep.
And the last one's just an old pair of like classic red and black. I just use them for accessories.
Everyone's first pair.
Yeah.
Everyone's first pair.
I just use these for like accessories, like dumbbell press, dips.
Cool.
It smells
like
good.
that. Smell good?
Yeah.
You want to smell them?
No, I don't.
Oh, brother.
All right. Let's get into the actual gym bag.
Getting the main course.
The main course.
The main
done.
course.
Let's jump to the main course.
You guys have stitched me up. What is all this crap?
What's in your gym bag, mate? Pull
What's
it
in there,
out.
mate? Come on.
Come on, don't be
Show us
shy.
what's in there.
Fuck.
What's that? What do you do with that?
What's that, mate? Don't put your finger in that. What is it?
This is not mine. I've been stitched up here, all right? This is a barbell brush
Just
cleaner.
drop the pouch thing down for me,
Yeah,
so we
righto.
can see it.
pouch. Oh,
how,
yeah.
how do you use that?
Mate. You open it up, all right? You put it around the barbell and you give it a good
It's fucking unreal.
Oh, that's good.
and you give the bar a good brush down.
Yeah, cool.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Oh, that's good. Shout out Barbell Rescue. Thanks for sending that out.
Yeah. Disclaimer, that is not mine, by the way.
Oh,
What else you got in there, mate?
What the fuck is this?
That's a bit of, what, is that a bit of lubricant?
lubricant.
What are you doing with lubricant in your fucking
It's a
bag?
bit of oil, mate.
Oh, is that what it is?
You guys are fucked. I'm going to put that away. And
Oh no. What's that,
I don't
mate?
even want to. A box of tampons.
Oh, bro, that's classic.
Oh, you
That's
didn't, you
the best
didn't
one.
even
I didn't think
know.
that-
And the fact it just got better
Mate,
and better and better.
bro, yeah, that one was paying $100.
Oh, yeah, if you had your money on,
On
the
a-
tampons, fuck, you get the big payout.
Big payout.
Oh,
How'd that get there?
don't ask me,
Fuck
mate.
me.
Fucking-
Oh.
Oh, okay, mate, we're done. That's it. Okay, we've seen your gym bag. Oh, that's good content. No, that's fantastic.
great.
That's good, mate. Well
Alright.
done. That was genuinely just to stitch you up because we were thinking, like Benny and I were talking before the show, like what sort of initiation process we could do. And there's this thing called the nose bleach special.
No.
But the
I've seen this.
But the problem is fucking we don't have a vape. We don't vape.
Yeah,
We don't have
vaping.
vodka. We have ammonia, and we don't have a chaser, which is Powerade. So we decided just to fucking do that, mate. So
just
welcome to the team. Big round of applause, Benny.
There you go, mate. Well done.
Thank you, boys.
Well done. Very proud of
Thank
you. All right, fuck. Now that's over. Last segment before we wrap it up. So we're going to talk about properly rated, overrated, underrated. So my one is having tampons in your gym bag.
Underrated. Because the boys think it's funny as fuck.
No, let's all right. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and then we'll discuss what our topics are.
Yep.
See you soon.
Cool.
All right, and we're back. So obviously, you guys know how it works: properly rated, overrated, underrated. I'll say the topic. You will say the topic. You will say the topic,
Yep.
and we'll basically just decide if we think it's, as I said, properly rated, overrated, underrated. We'll start with me. We'll go best for last, Jarrod, just because
Yep.
you're on the show today, first
Sounds
time.
good.
There you go.
My topic is locking in for a comp prep. Okay?
Locking in.
So you change your I guess like approach physically, mentally, everything changes
Just because it's
it's comp prep.
Okay.
All right, 3. We'll go Benny first. Probably rated, overrated, underrated.
Overrated.
Overrated. Jarrod,
Yeah, overrated.
overrated as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's overrated?
Well, it's overrated because at the end of the day, like you're going to skew all of your data by just locking in all of your variables at once, like at one time. And it's like, bro, like I totally get it that people are going to like kind of, I don't know, like you orbit Planet Powerlifting and you kind of like fly closer to it as comp prep comes out.
so-
That's good.
That's a very good analogy.
But I think
That
like
is.
as you are, entering comp prep, yeah, sure, like your variables and everything should be aligned, but like I think that people get too distracted in the sense that like, oh my God, I have to be 110% in on this prep, which not only creates like higher expectations for the outcome of a smaller training block and then also added pressure going into the meet.
Yep.
But 9 times out of 10, it's also going to reflect in the fact that people feel the necessity to pull back really hard in their like off-season blocks,
Yep.
which is genuinely when you're going to get the most amount of quality work in on
Yeah.
both technique and volume, hypertrophy, all of that shit. So, your peak is just like trying to like curate and output like all of this hard work that you've done prior to it anyways.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
it should be treated the same way.
Yep. What about you, Jarrod?
Yeah, I completely agree with what Benny said, but like, why should you label a comp prep or like a peaking block, for instance, any differently to a normal block?
Yep.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing as how like a competition day is just like a big training day.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's the exact same thing.
100%.
Just keep everything the same. You should be doing the same things you're doing in your comp prep. You should be doing all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what makes a peak is like the accumulation of like a number of training blocks, right?
100%.
Like
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
accumulating volume, you're accumulating fatigue, and obviously at the end of the day, you're just looking for that fitness fatigue model to be
Yep.
skewed in time for competition where you taper.
Yep.
So, I agree with you guys. Overrated as fuck. Locking in just for the comp prep
Yeah.
is so bad.
Just to like elaborate on what Jarrod said as well, where it's kind of like, every like training session or like SBD day is just like a comp like that it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I think like the best way to think about this as like from an athlete or even a coaching perspective is like can you imagine you imagine all of the other sports, and I think about this frequently where I just get pissed off that I don't get to compete like more than 3 times per year without it like kind of being a hindrance.
Yeah.
Whereas like in all of these other sports, they get to compete like every single weekend.
Yeah.
And that keeps them accountable in like the on season.
Exactly.
And it's just like, you know, treat it with the same
their
respect.
flow state is consistent.
Yeah, literally. So you want to treat like, you know, those big training days as they're like your like, you know, they're your weekend footy game. You know?
Yeah. And I was thinking of this, like to allude to this on like a social media front, interacting with that. Like, it's kind of like, okay, how do these high level professionals, say like NRL, NFL, AFL athletes, deal with like social media where like they see like news reporters or they see like other people performing really well? Like, I don't know, the Panthers fucking smoke another team and you verse them next week. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, you see another lifter PR or you see how their training's going. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, professional athletes on like I'm saying powerlifting's not professional sport, but like a real professional sport. How do they deal with that? Like coming into, you know, that competition, they're not going to change anything. They're just going to try their best consistently and just whatever happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's it.
not get too caught up in comparing yourself to others.
No.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
And if you're talking about certain athletes, they'll go to the pub, down 20 beers, and then get behind the wheel.
Shout out Paul Crew. Fucking hell. Alrighty, Benny, your turn, mate. Properly
cool.
rated, overrated, underrated.
All right, so my one, this will be applicable to all of us actually, but kind of aimed towards Jarrod. So obviously we spoke about in this podcast that you're an official ref and now coach as well.
Yes.
So my overrated, properly rated, underrated is being an official referee as a coach.
You go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Underrated.
Underrated. Fuck. I'm gonna say it's properly rated. Probably not underrated. Probably properly rated. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'd say it's underrated just because like it's my question, so I'm going to let you guys answer it first before I go on. So I'll let Jarrod go first.
Yeah. So, firstly, I think just like more so doing the course itself and having like actual referee experience. I'm not saying you have to referee all the time.
Yeah.
I definitely did last year. I refereed probably just about every comp in New South Wales.
Yeah. That's it.
But I think just like having done the course and basically knowing your shit is very valuable and underrated, especially when you've got like, I want to say like beginner lifters, right? You can, I don't want to say call out, but you can sort of like guide them in the direction to competition standard in their lifting, you know? I mean, like, oh, hey, like, this is really good, but get your shoulders back a bit more.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
The worst one is when they go, fuck off.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, if you're a coach, like, you should know the rules. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to be a referee.
No,
but
that's true.
Fuck, every time I'm at like an international comp, for example, or a national level comp, and you hear a coach complain about the outcome or the decision of the referees, and you just think to yourself, mate, like, you clearly don't know the rules.
Yeah. Actually, just to touch on that, there's obviously we know like you get white lights, red lights, but specifically the red lights, you get a card for each light. It's like you should be able to know just by looking at the card what it's for instead of going up to the ref like, hey mate, what was that for?
I think that's the biggest thing. That's like the biggest thing to being like privy to that moment, because like the referee, especially when you start to get to like a certain level, they have no responsibility to tell you what the fault was for. Yeah. And if you're in a scenario where that ref has had a fucking long day and they don't want to help you out, bro, our worlds, I'm sure they wouldn't.
Because they're fucking A, for starters, different nationalities.
Yeah.
B, there's a line you cannot walk over.
Yeah.
And C, you cannot approach the jury anymore. So like so many countries just got told to go away because you're actually not allowed to leave the coaching box because the jury reviews everything. And even if like you got a yellow, red, blue card, whatever it may be, as a coach, it's your responsibility to understand exactly what that means. It is hard sometimes because, say, example, like a yellow card means so much in so many of the lifts. It's important to understand like what you're looking at and what you see is interpreted by the referee. So I think it comes A, with experience, but B, what would make it easier is probably doing your refs course to know exactly what's going on.
I just think like from an earlier stage perspective, because like you've got to have a lot of like game day coaching under your belt to like be exposed to all of the scenarios that could be
every time,
could present. Whereas with doing the referee course and being all over the rule book because you have to, because it's on you to make a call on a certain lift, I think it puts more pressure on you to like really double down and like know what you're talking about.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And then also like being able to have the perspective of like the referee's lens when you are reviewing as a coach.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's gonna make you like less reactive to like that person, because you know what it's like when you have to give someone like a fault card and it's like, shit, I didn't want to do that, but I had to.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's gonna make you be like, oh, okay, like, you know, he's not the worst bloke in the world. Like, he's just doing his job. Yeah. And then you can relay that to your clients.
Fuck yeah.
On that note, like coming back to like coaches like asking referees, oh, what was that for? I do like it and like respect it in a sense where the coach will be like say you give a yellow card on bench, right? And they're like, oh, is that butt lift? When it was butt lift. And you're just like, yeah. Like that's 10 times better than being.
What was that for?
Yeah, exactly.
What was that for,
I mean?
you fucking cunt?
Yeah.
Or like they ask politely and then you say the thing and then they like, they fucking screw their face up. Like,
Yeah. So it's like they know what it's for, but they just want to confirm it. You know?
Yeah. I don't mind.
I like that. That's good.
All right. Well, there you go. Jarrod, properly rated, overrated, underrated. What's your topic, mate? And why is it, you know, having tampons in your bag?
It's peaking and tapering your pre-workout or caffeine intake during a block.
During a block.
So like having less caffeine at the start of a block and then having more like towards the end of the block or last week.
Oh, we'll keep going the clockwise circle.
You go
I'm
first.
going to say it sounds properly rated, like in theory. So I'm going to say properly rated.
I'm going to say overrated.
Overrated.
Yeah.
Your body doesn't give a fuck.
No.
Well, Benny has the accreditation of nutrition, so you can
He
say
does.
that. I'll say why I think it's properly rated, because I've never done it. So like, but like the theory makes sense. But I do believe that, like, say for example, you've got like a normal 4-week block. Like on the physiological level, metabolic level, your body's not going to be able to actually adapt and change its rate of processing caffeine in that short amount of time. But the thing that I've found is that what's valuable is just the timing of your caffeine. Like,
Yeah, true.
fucking having it nowhere near bedtime. Like, that is so important. I found a massive difference. I went over to Malta, shit house coffee. I had to go out without coffee for a while until I found a machine. And the machine coffee, like, it kind of was a bit weak, but it was enough for me to get by comp day coaching for 12 days straight.
Yep.
So my caffeine intake, as soon as I got there, reduced dramatically. And when I got back, I found I didn't even need to have as much coffee.
Yep.
And I think that, and I feel way better about it in my sleep, in my recovery, and obviously like not relying on it just like makes me feel good.
Yep.
And now I'm finding that when I train, I don't even need a full scoop of pre-workout. I'm taking like half a scoop, and it's just enough. And I know that's enough. That's all I need. And because I am training early, I'm placing all these variables into the matter of like taking care of myself on like a, I guess, intake level, not being unhealthy with my caffeine intake. I feel way better about it too.
Yep.
So,
That's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I have like 2 points. So my first point being, you said tapering throughout a block length. So like week 1, like less, week 2 more, week 3 more, week 4 most.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like when I look at like, I understand where you're coming from for that. I feel like it's just for me, like being more responsive to like which sessions I need more or less caffeine
True.
for.
Yeah.
And realistically, like sometimes in like that week 1 to 2, I may have like a baseline that is like relatively challenging, and because it's week 1, you know, like you're probably not as all over like variables as you may be in week 5. So the things that are like surrounding your training parameters, you might need the extra push. Yep. The other thing is that I normally like, I wouldn't say like it peaks and tapers, but in line with taking enough caffeine for what sessions I need it for. On the ones that have less demand, like I take way less. Like
I do that too.
I'll have like, you know, man, if I'm coming in and doing like just like tertiary bench and accessories, I'm not having caffeine. And then like if I'm doing like, you know, primary SBD, I'm having like a full serve. And I think moving on from that, I think the thing where you start to like climb or take more caffeine to supplement having a better session or a better performance outcome, whether that's like comp or in training, I think it just leaves you open to the possibility of like overdoing it, and I
Yeah.
see this a lot.
Yeah.
It's like
Shout out
people.
Matty Bartholomew, Anniversary Cup.
I was literally going to mention this. So like Matt's a good example where I spoke to him and he came out for his squats and like really just felt off. And then by the time he came around for bench, he felt a lot better. And he did mention that he took like a much bigger dose of caffeine than what he regularly would. And I don't even think it was a drastic amount, just more than usual. And he said he had this response, which he has had in the past, where it kind of just it regulates your like blood sugar. So like disallows you to feel energized through like your natural pathways, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Instead of like synthetic, like pumping with caffeine. So that's something. The other thing is like the stomach irritation that you can get from consuming like excess amounts of caffeine.
Yep.
So obviously like the last thing you want to do in a high priority session or competition is feel like you're going to shit yourself.
Yeah, that's
so
no good.
so that's another big consideration. And then like just the effects that come alongside like higher caffeine intake, like, you know, whether that be like, you know, feeling the shakes, like heightened anxiety, like, you know, like things like that.
Yeah.
And just being more in control of those.
And how it affects your recovery as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're fucking hammering caffeine in week 4,
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
like the half-life of how it's going to be like excreted from your system, it's going to take just double the amount of time if you have
That's-
double the amount of scoops.
That's massive.
And
I
And
had
you
a,
fucking recover like shit.
I had a conversation with John about this week. He came in,
John?
John the dog.
John
yeah,
the dog.
John came in for a massive 270 dub. But yeah, no, John Horford, of course, came in for a big squat session, final week, just before going into peak for his competition. Huge PR. He always takes higher stim caffeine that last week.
The top shelf stuff.
Top shelf. And yeah, man, he was just elevated until past midnight.
Yeah.
And the bloke gets up early because he works a trade. So he said that
Yeah,
he got like 5 hours sleep.
Fucked up.
And then he came in the next day and it affected his performance for secondary deadlifts, and he had to pull back by like -5 on the week prior, which, you know, that's fine. We
Which
regulate.
is okay
and
because he's in the final week. Yeah.
we are reactive, like, you know what I mean? So that's fine, but that's just a perfect example. Like, you know, if that was a back-to-back primary, that would be a really big issue.
Yeah, fucking oath.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Righto, what do you reckon, mate? Here we go. After hearing all that, it's overrated as fuck.
Yeah. Never doing it again.
I'm still going to stick by saying it's properly rated just because it's what I've been doing for a little bit. But, you know, obviously maybe after hearing what you guys have said, might keep it a bit more consistent all the time now for myself.
Yep.
But I've just found for me, like having more towards the end of your block, especially having like the most in that last week, like you get that good boost that you might sometimes need
Yep.
Yeah.
in that last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things where like you put a lot of faith or like pressure into being a reliable marker of like what makes a good performance for you. Obviously you've had good experiences taking that amount of caffeine in like a week 4 where things have happened really well.
Yep.
But it's not to discredit the program. Your
No,
hard work
no,
ethic.
God, no, yeah. It's not.
The other
It's not
things.
like a reliant. It's just like, oh, hey, like,
A kick up the ass.
yeah, there you go.
For sure. And I feel like, you know, it like caffeine intake for me, and I see it for a lot of people, is very closely tied into like how aroused you get for a
Yeah.
session or a lift. So I think considering that as well, and just making sure that like you're not veering away from like getting aroused at all in your early weeks, and then on the flip side of that, you're not getting overly aroused because you're really heavily stimmed up.
Yeah.
So just being able to like control and manage that consistently across a block length, especially in high priority ones, I think is really valuable. But yeah,
Controlling your arousals is very underrated.
Yeah,
Like
I agree with
letting
that.
letting the caffeine just do its thing and like elevate you, and not kind of like fucking forcing it to come out. Like
the moment you force any type of arousal, it's like, what do you
dude,
do?
I've been massive into that lately. It's kind of like when I come in, I'm just responding to like my state, and it will look different on different days. It will always be quite similar, and like the ways that I, you know, create the arousal is similar.
Yeah.
It's like similar music or like, you know, different levels.
The
But
swing you go through between your secondary and primary squats is so funny.
yeah,
You
100%.
get your ass handed to last week, and you're like, "Fuck, I got to try hard for this." Like, so headphones go in, and then you dabble, you know, in
bro.
that primary squat stimulus.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's just, I know that like on my like secondary squat day, like it's just a lower intensity day. Like it's, you know, it's not something that I don't try out, but I know that like it's more just getting the work in. You know what I mean? Whereas it's like, fuck, I'm getting up for my top single, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I've experienced as well where like getting to that elevated state for like weeks in a row is like very fatiguing in itself.
yeah.
Like I will feel fucked by the end of the week. So yeah, just making sure I come back down and have down sessions. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Alright, well, that rounds out that segment. I think we've gone for about an hour, fellas. So that's a good job.
Excellent.
Chat.
Yeah, we said it'd go for
Very
half
good.
an hour, but it's gone for an hour.
That's it.
That's how it always works on the hunt. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well, I've got
guys.
one last one.
Yeah.
How'd you get the nickname Cake?
Wait, can it please be cake_HPC?
Oh, come on.
No.
That was the right answer, but it's not the one I wanted.
We'll talk about cake another time, I reckon.
All right, that's
Yeah, Aiden can tell you guys another time.
Yeah.
How
That's
does
all right.
that sound?
It'll give him a reason to tune in next week.
If you actually
Yeah.
scroll back about 15 minutes and you look at like him put his bags down, you'll see why.
Alrighty, cool.
He's like, what?
Hey.
What else is in there?
No. We're talking about the cake mate facing the camera. That's all.
Oh,
Oh, mate.
that cake.
Yeah.
Anyway, you'll see it.
He's like, what, cake mix in my bag?
Let's cook it up.
Yeah. It's already gone. Like, he's already eaten something.
Alright, we better go.
Alrighty. Well, tune in next week. See us. We're probably going to talk about more like educational stuff next week because we've just been waffling for a while now. But coming into the end of the year, it's going to be a big, very, very big push from us because obviously we're going to be working together to make sure that everyone's, achieving their goals. And if they need any help coaching, you can contact Aiden, Benny, or Jarrod _HPC. We'll see you in the next episode.
That's all right. See you later.
Good job. All right. Nice, mate.